Let's get right into it with some dime superlatives. All right, this is the dime superlatives, kind of similar to like your high school superlatives, like most outgoing, best singer, things of that nature. But these are ones that I've kind of made up on my own throughout the existence of the dime. This is Quab's first time doing it with me too. I'm really excited to have you do this with me, Quab, because I've done it with guests in the past, and they were great, but they're not you. I love you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for having me.
All right, well, let's get to the first superlative, which is team most likely to fall off a cliff. I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. Yes, the Golden State Warriors are my pick for the team to most likely fall off a cliff. I don't believe in this fake win streak that they have. I know they won tonight against the Utah Jazz, closing out the first half of the season. They blew a game against the Los Angeles Clippers yesterday. I just don't see them winning enough games to actually having any type of standing in the playoffs. Can't see them beating anybody in the first round. That's in the top half of the Western Conference right now. I don't think Klay Thompson... Actually, I can't even say I think. I know Klay Thompson's not the same basketball player anymore.
He just put up 35, though.
Off the bench. Come on, bro. Have you watched... Yeah, off the bench. You think he's going to do that?
I've watched. You're right. You don't got it.
Yeah, come on. Let's be honest now. He's mad at Steph and Dre for trying to trade him for LeBron. Vibes are not immaculate over there in San Francisco. I don't care what anybody says. They're an okay team. They're a decent team. Play-in team. Might not even make the playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me if this is like a case where one person goes down and then they're just awful for the rest of the second half. Like, to me, they're one injury away from anyone in the rotation from just tanking for the rest of the season. Not on purpose, accidentally, because they'll be bad. So for me, it's the Golden State Warriors. Just don't believe in them, Quab. Who do you got?
Damn. Well, I have the team I always don't believe in, and that's the Sixers. And it comes with every year. I'm always like, you're like, Sixers. I'm like, them boys.
Nah, not this year. I wasn't like that this year. I came close, bro. I came really close this year.
You came close this year, and it comes with an asterisk. It's just because not having Joel Embiid is such a big loss. I don't know when he's gonna come back and be able to ramp up and be ready to play. I guess right now, hopefully they're trying to tread water until he gets back. And he was basically having an MVP season before he got hurt.
Yeah,
but he was able to return to close to form. They're a contender in the East, but I don't know if that's gonna be the case. I think the Buddy Hield trade was really great for them. If Embiid was healthy, I would have been like, damn, that's a great.
You got a shooter. Yeah, you got a shooter. Spread the floor. Yeah,
spread the floor. I think that's the one thing that they always talked about they were lacking, is that they didn't shoot enough threes. And you have one of the best movement shooters, one of the best knockdown 3-point shooters, after Steph Curry, to put on the squad, which actually helps them because Tyrese Maxey was seen basically 1A coverage since Embiid went down. But if Embiid doesn't come back, I just feel like they're the team that will keep losing ground. So, I mean, fall off a cliff is so dramatic, but I feel like that's the team that's probably in the most trouble.
Oh, we're going to be dramatic. They're going to fall off a cliff, Quab. I want you to say that they're going to tumble to the bottom of the standings right now. All right, next superlative, team most likely to turn it around. Not as dramatic as falling off a cliff, but I guess a team that was struggling early in the year, or a team that's underachieving up until the All-Star break that you think is going to turn it around. I'll go first. I got the Chicago Bulls with this one, man. A lot of people aren't. First of all, it's so crazy to be an NBA fan where the Chicago Bulls are completely irrelevant. I don't think anyone talks about the Bulls. Am I wrong about this? Is this anecdotally I feel like there's no national coverage on the Bulls outside of maybe DeRozan, Levine trade talk. That's the only time their name comes up. But no one actually talks about the Bulls as a franchise, or the Bulls, what direction are the Bulls going in? How are the Bulls doing? No one cares about the Bulls anymore, which is insane because the Bulls throughout my lifetime have been a prominent franchise.
True.
No one gives a damn. Is that am I tripping on that?
I mean, they've been consistently team playing right now, so that's who they are. So it's you don't know what the Bulls are.
No one gives a shit. No one cares. The Bulls have been good for the past 30 or so games. I don't know the exact record. I should probably wrote it down. But I think they're 17-11 on the past 28 games, which is a decent record. They've been moving up on the standings. I think there's a shot that they could be a 7-8 seed. I don't think they'll get to 6, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. I really do. I think they're going to turn it around, quote unquote, and be a team. I won't say a team that nobody wants to face in the first round, but a team that you're going to have to respect and play hard against. Kobe White has been a revelation. who is talking about Kobe White? I'm showing the Bulls love. You got to understand, as a fan that grew up like in New York, as a Knicks fan in the 90s, I'm giving love to the Bulls. This is how impressed I am with the Chicago Bulls right now. They have quietly been playing really good basketball, and I think that's going to continue into the second half of the season.
Do
That's
you
my pick.
do
Chicago
you
Bulls.
do you feel like do you have belief in them if they were in the playoffs? Do you think they can win a round?
No.
Oh,
I don't.
just want to hear you
But I
say
mean,
that. I just want to hear you
but
say
it's,
that. That's all.
but like if they caught the Orlando Magic, I wouldn't be surprised. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying the bar high where it's like, are you going to get the 5 seed or 4 seed and have a first round upset? No, I don't think they'll do that. But like, could you catch the Orlando Magic, leapfrog them? And I don't know if they have time to leapfrog the Pacers. Like, I don't know. But like, you know, I think they'll make things interesting, and I think they're gonna definitely be in the playoffs. Whether it's the 7th or 8th seed, I think they'll get into that play-in situation, and they'll be the 7th or 8th seed, and they're gonna be playing well going into the playoffs, and they'll be a hard 6-game out in the first round, which is no shame.
True.
You know, I mean, they have players now. They have players. They're getting healthy. I know Zach's out, but DeMar's playing. Vucevic is playing well. Again, Kobe White has been a revelation. Alex Caruso, like they've been playing well.
Yeah.
Why not? Chicago.
For team, I have a turnaround. It's the Washington Wizards. Oh no, it's I have the.
Can you make a case for that?
No, I can't because you know what's crazy. When I looked at the standings like earlier today, the Wizards have one more win than the Pistons, and the Pistons had the the losing streak of all time,
Yeah,
and it's been
like widely known as the worst team ever to step on the court.
and they're just one game behind the Wizards, so that's crazy in itself. I actually with that I actually have the Golden State Warriors, which like goes
Oh,
goes right against your argument from the team you have in the
we
first to fall off a
disagree.
cliff. What you say? I'm sorry.
Wow, we really disagree.
Yeah, my mindset is like I don't like to bet against Steph Curry. Like the point you
Okay.
made is very valid. If they were to lose a player and like if they were to lose like knock on wood, if they lose like Steph, the season's gone completely. It's done. It's
Yeah,
trash. But in any playoff setting, playing setting, if you have Steph, you have a chance. To me, I feel like,
yeah,
and if it ends up in a 7 game series with most teams don't want to face that team for 7 games. Yes, they've had faults, they've had problems all throughout the season. And now with the whole, I guess them wanting to trade for LeBron again, such a weird headline, wanting to trade for LeBron and Clay going through a tough time and Draymond being in and out of the lineup. They've been slowly like winning games, showing a little bit more consistency here and there. They still have there's still weird lineup stuff going on during the course of the game, and a lot of the fans attribute that to Steve Kerr not playing like wasn't it Jackson Davis.
yeah,
So like there's weird stuff going on, but at the same time, there's games I've watched them and I'm like, okay, this team is still they still have pieces that are still tough. Like getting Gary Payton back has been very helpful for them. Kuminga is having a
yeah,
solid season. Uh,
yeah,
uh, Brandon Pisminski is having a solid season as a rookie. So I see there's a possibility of them turning around. So like that's why
Okay.
I have them in that section.
Okay, fine. I won't
Mhm.
argue. It's your
Okay.
superlative.
Yeah.
It's your superlative. It's okay. Let's move on to the next superlative. It's hold on. Shout out to us for not picking the Lakers, by the way. I'm proud of us. I'm very proud of us. I
The
feel like
Lakers
there are
are
probably a
fun.
lot of national media out there if they were given the same superlative, like, I believe in the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the same team, and blah 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 blah. No. Shout out to us. All right, moving on. Most fugazi contender. This is a team that is in that rare tier of contenders. So I think there's about, you can say like maybe what 5 to 7 contenders really in the NBA right now that you think is the most fugazi. I'll go first. I think it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think this is not as much disrespect as people would think it is. I just think looking at all the contenders that I consider contenders, they're the team that I kind of trust the least to kind of execute in the half court. And that's really what it comes down to. I think they're really good defensively, even though they kind of fallen off a little bit lately. I think they'll come back to their dominant defensive ways, but I just don't think that half court offense is going to fly in a 7-game series against like the Nuggets, against the Thunder. Even I think I might pick the Thunder over them at this point right now. And let's just say hypothetically they win the West against the Celtics. I don't think it would fly either. So to me, if I were to pick a fugazi contender, now this is me acknowledging that they're a contender, people. So if you're a Timberwolves fan, this is not me saying, that they're below a contender. But if I had to pick one contender that I think is fugazi, to me, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wow, what about you?
Mine will be, and maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment, but it would be the Bucks. Just
Yeah, that was my 1A or 1B, whatever.
yeah, I just watched them lose to Memphis, which is, I mean,
No big deal.
no big deal. I mean, the Grizzlies do that.
Missing half of their roster.
Yeah,
No
I
big deal.
mean, and most of them is they're the Memphis Hustle. It's not the Grizzlies, but the
Yeah.
team. There's a lot
Yeah.
of players that play
14
hard.
point favorites. Nah, no big deal.
No big deal. I just think every time, even after they change coaches and get Doc, every time I watch the Bucks, they just look like they struggle to beat teams. Every game feels too close to have their amount of talent that they have on the court. And maybe that will help them going in the playoffs. It will translate well where they'll be, when you're in close games, you're not that worried, but it just feels like they're still trying to figure it out, like during the course of a game where end of the game even this game against the Grizzlies, end of the game where felt like 3-4 possessions, the ball was out of the hands of Giannis and Dame, and it ended up in like Malik Beasley's hand or a role player's hands, and it didn't really equate to a bucket. The problem with the Bucks right now, like, yeah, I could see them like winning the East, but I can also see them losing in the first round, and I wouldn't be shocked. I'll be like, well, yeah,
To the Heat again.
yeah, to the Heat again. I was just like, yep, it happened. Like, so I wouldn't be shocked. So though that's my team that I have for that category.
All right, moving on to the next superlative. Most likely to play Cinderella. Wow, this pains me a lot. I don't want to say this team.
I'll say it. I'll say Heat culture. Heat culture.
It's the Miami Heat for me.
Heat culture.
It's the Miami. It's the Miami Heat for you too?
Yeah, it's Miami Heat for me also.
Okay, can we say it like we're at an award show that we just opened the envelope and say it together? Okay, ready? And the winner is the Miami Heat. You didn't do it with me. It's okay. Yeah, it's the Heat. I'm scarred. I have PTSD. I think about last year, and I think about what they did to the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's hard not to get that out of my head. It's hard not to let that affect my decision making when it comes to making predictions about the Miami Heat going forward. I was a hater last year. I didn't believe it. You can look back at old episodes. I just was in denial the whole time. I am not going to look stupid like that ever again. So this is me just basically being like, just to play it safe, I believe in you, Miami. And if you fail, that's fine. It's a win-win for me. It's so most likely to play Cinderella, the Miami Heat. But on a serious note, out of all teams that are kind of like 5th seed, 6th seed and below right now, I think they probably are the team that's most likely to make a run in the playoffs.
I'm the same way. Like, I wouldn't be shocked with them making a run. They have arguably the best coach in the league. It's just they play differently when it's playoff time. We saw it last year. It was maddening for you to deal with that as a Knicks fan and other teams fans also, because they were like, it's the Heat. They're not.
It just didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense, but it was like, hey, man,
we don't have to revisit.
We don't have to bring up the pain.
No.
But they they get players that kind of fit their system, and they move the ball, they play hard, and they're well coached. And during the playoff time, they make the right adjustments and proceed forward. So they're my Cinderella team, even though they were just in the finals. So, but like, they're the Cinderella team moving forward.
All right. Oh, also, shout out to us for not picking the Lakers. We did it again. We did it again. Avoiding the Lakers, baby. That's what we do on this podcast. We avoid the Lakers. We don't. We'll talk about them later. All right, here we go. Next relative player most likely to turn the fuck up.
He said, like,
This is an interesting superlative, but something I came up with in my head. And I was like, you know what, let's just give a shout out to somebody who we think is going to turn up and kind of lead their team to, I guess, playoff glory or, a run deep into the playoffs. And for me, the reason why I chose this player is because I don't think I was ever like a huge fan of this player. I've never been a stan of this player, but I've always respected this player. And I've always thought to myself that this player is one of the best players I've ever seen. And this player, in my opinion, just hasn't gotten the credit that he deserves for his accomplishments, for his ability, for what he's accomplished, and just how good he is. And that's Kevin Durant. This man is unbelievable, bro. Like, have y'all seen his stats this year? It's like incredible, man. He's one of the best, if not the best, offensive weapon I've ever seen in my life. And people talk about him like he's not because he decided to go to Golden State one year, which I don't agree with, but it doesn't take away the fact that this man has been an assassin his whole freaking NBA career. And I feel like people just want to forget about that because they don't like the decisions that he makes and because he stands up for himself on Twitter. So people want to rank him lower than he should be when it comes to ranking NBA players and when it comes to ranking NBA greats all time. This man is one of the best basketball players to ever touch the ball, period. Top 15, absolutely, maybe even top 10. And some of y'all are going to say I'm smoking crack with that, but tell me who you would rather have the ball in their hands to score a basket at any time,
facts.
in NBA history. You can probably name like 3 people, if that, honestly. Like, who? Jordan? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so
Facts.
to me, I think Kevin Durant, I do think that they have a team in Phoenix that is very offensively gifted. I think people are forgetting that Durant is still on a mission to, I wouldn't say save his legacy, but to improve his legacy and to prove to everybody out there who's forgotten about him that, I'm effing man. And I do think he's going to turn up. I think he's going to turn up in the second half of the season. I think he's going to have a fantastic playoffs. I think by the end of these playoffs or by the start of the playoffs, at least the start of the playoffs, we're going to be having discussions like, damn, Kevin Durant, like maybe the MVP conversation, or damn, like Kevin Durant's playing basketball like he's the best basketball player in the world right now. I think he's that good. I think people have forgotten. And I guess I just taken this superlative to show him some love.
I picked Jimmy Butler. Also, just coming back. In all seriousness, though, it's been well like documented. Butler always waits until like after the All-Star break to like ramp up. He always he does it. He does it every year. I mean, I think he's away from the team because of he's dealing with like a death in the family. So hopefully, I mean, everything's okay. Condolences to him and his family. Hopefully, when he returns, he's gonna just show and prove why Heat culture is the best culture.
All right, let's move on. moving on.
Heat culture is the best culture.
Yeah. Next relative player most likely to break Twitter. This award is just basically somebody who you think is going to either be very phenomenal and everyone's just going to want to talk about him on Twitter, or very dumb, who you think everyone's going to talk about on Twitter, or do something so outlandish that you think everyone's going to talk about on Twitter, or have a performance that's so great that everyone's going to talk about on Twitter, or have a performance that's so like uncharacteristically bad or epically great, and to me, there's like no other obvious answer than James Harden. James Harden is going to do something. I don't know what it is, but something's going to happen in the playoffs where James Harden sets Twitter ablaze, whether he chokes again or he hits a game-winning shot in the playoffs or he leads the Clippers to a championship. I think James Harden is the player that NBA Twitter is going to be focused on the most this season for the rest of the year and for the playoffs. To me, he's breaking Twitter. Quab, what about you?
I think it's going to be LeBron. He already had everybody like confused when he put up an emoji with the sad sign. I just feel like he's probably gonna when the playoffs start. You might not see anything from him on Twitter, but like maybe after the playoff ends, he put up like the eyes emoji or something, and people will be like,
God.
"What does that mean? Oh my gosh, is he leaving?"
God. Yeah,
it'll be a whole thing. So and
yeah.
like we always say, the NBA is the biggest drama in the world. So he's like one of the main characters.
He's gonna tweet like the Statue of Liberty emoji.
Yeah, just some random, just something so random, and people be like, "Oh my, he's gonna get blown out."
No, I'm just in New York, and I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, okay, LeBron, sure.